Well, hello and welcome to July 25th, 2022. My name is Kurt and this is my daily good life meditation video. This is something that I do, an exercise of sorts, each and every day. First thing after I wake up, I do this to remember my life objectives and principles and to check how I did applying those to the opportunities and challenges of yesterday and to plan for the next coming 24 hours. First last night and yesterday. Slept average. Maybe I was up 45 minutes before the alarm. Pretty intense. Lately it's been more like mild panic attack than restless insomnia. Panic attack being differentiated by, sharpness of breath, deep anxiety, muttering to myself. I have to worry that I don't wake my wife up tossing and turning. So I'm glad for the decision that I've made, which is that I'm going to start going back to work. I never had this problem during the years when I was even dealing with projects seemingly more challenging than what I'm doing now. Never had this problem when I was, making my daily commute back and forth. I'm hoping that this will address this. Although I have a feeling that there are other factors involved as well. My age, my exhaustion, and that I may be in a way kind of an let me go back and dwell on that for a second. The age and the age. I'm becoming increasingly convinced that there's a reason people kind of have a retirement window in the modern world of 60 to 65. I think that we kind of reach a point where our diminishing capacities and our increasing exhaustion, or easiness to exhaustion, plus the almost a blinding reality of youth and ambition. That world, it's like running a foot race that you just can't keep up with anymore. All of those things together might conspire to, we push ourselves out of the rat race for good cause. That might be a factor that I'm not amply taking into consideration. I may be blaming this on the fact of the pandemic that sent us home, and my working from home situation. When there may be other, and that part might be part of it, but there may be other factors as well. Just, I'm closing on 60. And, people tend to start looking for the exits about 60. Dot, dot, dot. Oh, bang. So, yeah. Part of the reason that I didn't have a full-on awful night was that I worked hard over the weekend to get ready for my day's meetings today. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The projects that I'm working on are definitely hard. But if you look at the big scheme of things, they're not that big a deal. But they're hard nonetheless. I mean, keep me engaged most of the weekend. My mind. Okay, so there's that. Tired. Wish I could bring this stage of life to a close. Get myself safely sequestered away on a small piece of land somewhere. Close the shutters from the storm. I've got more than a lifetime's left of books on my shelf right here. Keep me quite busy. I don't know if I've ever shown it to you. Those are my books. Half of them, the one on the one side, are the books I haven't read, and the one on the other side are the books that I have read. Those are going to keep me quite busy. The stuff I've got left, I've got more than enough for a lifetime. Safely shuttered away someplace where I can be at peace and read. That sounds good, doesn't it? To walk, to read, to think, to spend time with my wife. She's, now that Emily's growing, practically gone. We rarely see her anymore, even though she's still at home. She's usually off somewhere else. Yumiko and I more and more turn to each other, like we did before we became parents. So that's good, yeah. Okay, that's the state of things. There was a guy yesterday at the park with his dog free. I learned from my last lesson, a couple weeks back with a dog attack. I steered us clear, way clear of that. True limits and true opportunity, right? Okay, let's do the good life. 7 objectives and 31 principles. Yeah, I added that new one. I can't even remember what it's called. I wrote it down right here. Life will not go well. I'm very proud of this, the addition of this principle, which sounds like adding common sense to the menu. But in a way, it's even though it may be the commonest sense, it helps to codify it. I added it there after the horror show. I also, because I was working on the book, Going Alone, adding this to it. And I decided while I was in there, I would move, make some adjustments that I've been thinking about doing for a while. I moved the Great Life Adventure to follow just after the Path of Wildness, because that makes sense. The Path of Wildness leads to the Great Life Adventure. Also, while I was working on Life Will Not Go Well, I stood there while I did the title, and then in Going Alone, there's a paragraph of description. I took a deep breath and plunged into the writing, going with the first words that rose in my head, and the muse was with me. She came back after a long time of absence, and I spilled out an entire paragraph that I'm very pleased captured the essence of what I was trying to say. Not clearly, but it's not how I write. But there it was, the thing I wanted to say, for anyone that might want to take a stab at it. And I don't feel guilty about that. In a way, the writers that I like best are the writers that require me to participate in the lifting. Thoreau, of course. Lucretius, Aristotle, Hawthorne, to a degree. Seneca, of course. And very much so, Samuel Johnson, the good doctor. Writerly writing. Okay, let's see. We've all got to have something to strive for, right? Here we go, 7 objectives. Number 1, to be always ready to die, to have all my affairs in good order. 2, to make good and effective use of time, to be pleased with the results of the day, at the end of the day. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions, so that I'm reacting well to what's going on. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a storm going on inside me right now. I'm very nervous about today. I've got some challenging meetings today. I mean, human encounter challenging meetings, several. I think I'm reacting well. I don't think I'm displaying it on the surface. That's what I mean. Because I need to keep this face. I need to keep my game face on for the day. Can't be an emotional wreck at work. My family's counting on me. 5, to perform good actions, just to do good things throughout the day. 6, to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities, so that I see what is within my reach and what's too far. And then lastly, 7, to do just one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly, deliberately, carefully, just as I'm doing right now. This cadence is the right cadence. And if you think that this cadence is natural, that's not true. This is contrived. I am, like I said, I'm only about 35 minutes removed from a mild panic attack. Laying in bed, tossing and turning, waiting for the damn alarm to go off. And the picture that I had in my mind was a sailor on a well-trimmed ship for storm weather, holding in the cockpit, holding the tiller and whatever, ropes on the sheets, I guess, raging through a storm. That was me, and that's what I am right now. I mean, I'm better. I'm not having a panic attack now, but I'm definitely better. But I'm only less than just a little more than half an hour removed from that. One thing at a time, slowly, carefully, controlled emotions, recognizing my true limits and my true opportunities, even within the storm. And it's not easy. Okay, now my 31 principles. Strange to say that. Number 1, the principle of war. To always be fighting against what I think is true. Especially what other people tell me I should think is true. Especially the things that I already think are true. Because those are the ones that can trip me up the most. So always be questioning. 2, the principle of reason and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt. To be a reasonable man, true to myself, objective in my view, cleaning the glasses for a clearer view, and a fierce, determined skeptic. How do you know that's true? How do I know that's true? 3, the homunculus. Since I don't believe in God, I don't believe in an afterlife, I don't believe in souls, what do I believe in? Well, I believe I'm here. I think you're there too. And I think that I have a consciousness. It's like somewhere a bit here, between my ears and behind my eyes. That's where it feels like, doesn't it? It feels like it's right there. It doesn't feel like it's right behind the eyes. It feels like it's a little up and behind. I guess that's where the seat of our brain, or the seat of our awareness is. I do that. I do have that. You do. It seems like we all do. Unless you or I are the only ones, and the rest is all just made up. Maybe I'm just a figment of your imagination. I don't think so. That would mean that everything that I'm doing is your responsibility. And if you're a figment of my imagination, and everything that everyone else does is my doing, then that says a lot, because that means I can write a lot better music than I think I can. It's all the best music in the world, all the best painting in the world was the result of me, and I don't think that's true. So I don't think that we're brains in a vat. I think you are real, I am real, but I think we have a shelf life. We're only going to be around as long as we're around. That's what the homunculus is, the little mortal who dies with us. That's a good way to put it, actually. The little mortal who dies with us. I like that. Okay, now next is the Anchorhold. It's the place where the Homunculus lives. Not really, but it's a fictitious place. It's a rock out on the ocean, sticking out just yay far. And you're standing up on top of the rock, and the waves are churning. It's dangerous. You're going to fall in someday, and it's slippery, and you don't want to fall in because you can't get back out. And that's the end. Its water's cold and deep and dark, and there might be things in there. Anchorhold. Last night, just before the alarm went off, I switched my gears. I said, okay, I'm not in that boat racing through this stormy sea. I'm on my Anchorhold. I'm on my rock, churning about. That didn't work quite as well as the boat, but it's a better one because it's the model I've developed, so I should stick with that. Okay, next is the best. No. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, it is. Sin and damnation. If there is no God and there is no soul, then what about right and wrong? Are they chiseled in a stone somewhere, like the Ten Commandments? Although I don't think the Ten Commandments are actually chiseled anywhere, except in maybe humans. We've chiseled in stones that we place in front of courthouses, but I don't think God ever did that, because I don't think there's God. So if there is no, on high command about right and wrong are therefore up to us. They're human inventions, contrivances of a sort. So it's up to us to work hard to formulate good ideas of what constitutes the good life. Can you hear the dogs running? Next is the principle of purpose. Excuse me, in my worldview, there are three purpose. Biology, which is being a good husband and father to raise our children into the next generation well, raise them well into the next generation. Virtue, to be a virtuous human being, where virtue is defined as the improvement of, seeking the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures, in particular of all creatures if I can, to the best of my ability. And then mission. My purpose is whatever mission I've onboarded. And for me, my mission is the sharing of the good life as it's codified in my book, Going Alone. Which is what I'm doing right now. Making this video is the fulfillment of my personal life purpose. In fact, it's not just fluff. It's not just filling time or even an exercise. It is the reaching out for my purpose, to attempt to fulfill my purpose. Next is the atomic principle. A reminder that everything is made of bits and pieces, flowing and changing and forever transforming. Now, let me take a number because I want to see if I can come up with 31. So I'm at the atomic principle. So far that's been war, reason, homunculus, Anchorhold, home of good and evil, purpose, that's 6. Next comes and then the atomic principle, that's 7. Next comes the principle of nature. Everything is made of bits and, everything has some nature, including us. And it's good to recognize what the nature of those things are so that we can live in better accord with how reality really works. And then the pirate ride. I don't believe that we have free will. Free will is an illusion. It really feels like we're making choices, but really the universe has everything to say about what we decide. The pirate ride. And then maturity. Maturity consists of 2 sub-principles, wisdom and fortitude. We are mature when we wisely remember our past successes and failures and work to do better, have more fortitude. We strive to live a better life. I think I just did it right. Atomic. Hold on just a second. War, reason. War, reason, homunculus, Anchorhold, home of good and evil, atomic principle, nature, pirate ride, maturity, wisdom and fortitude. Next is the social principle. We need each other. public speaking, to be very careful about what we say, what we write, public speaking. Then comes, here we go, the horror show. Life is a scary place. Terrible things are happening. Terrible things are coming for you and me. They may already be here. And I need to remember that. Be sensitive to others that are suffering the horror. And be ready to weather and eventually yield to the horror myself. Here's where the new one is. Life will not go well. My first time to say it. Life is like stumbling down a hill. Have you ever done that? Have you ever slid down a really steep hill without a trail? You kind of slide and trip and tumble. I don't like that. That isn't a good example. It's like going through a fun house with, ghouls ambushing us at every side. No, I don't like that either. I'm struggling to find a way to describe this. Life will not go well. It will go hard. Life is a challenging, complex, error-strewn, challenge-riddled, as I've already said, journey without much of a map, few friends, and it's much according to chance. That's pretty good. Whatever I just said there. That'll cover it. Damn it, did I remember to do it? I'm forgetting when I do the mark. I think I did it. Anyway, I give this up. I'm not going to get this right. So that was life will not go well. Then comes the principle called that which must be borne, carried, borne with an E at the end. And what we have to bear, and I'm really pleased with the way this is positioned now, what we have to bear are the fact of the horror show. We have to bear the fact that life will not go well. We have to bear the weight of whatever purpose we have in life. I wonder if I should move purpose over there. That might work. I might do that. I might move purpose just after life will not go well. Although, let's see. Anyway, that's what we have to bear. It's a tough thing. Like I have to bear this morning. Like I am bearing this morning. I think I'm bearing it well. Does it show? Can you see how anxious I am inside? Can you see that I'm really having a tough morning? I have been having a tough morning for like about 2 hours and 2.5 hours now. I'm bearing it well. And I will. It's what I do. At least until my daughter is grown and safe on her own. Then I'll yield. And I'll retreat away. Will that be yielding of us? I guess so, in a way. Or will it just be retreating away? I guess it's yielding in a way. Too much thought this morning. Next comes, after that which must be born comes, what comes next? Oh, temperance. My controlled consumption of all things, including my job, my food and drink and all things, just in very careful, close moderation. Then comes, after temperance, what comes after temperance? See, mixing it up like this has kind of messed me up. I don't remember. Oh. I got it wrong. I think temperance goes before the horror show. Maybe I already talked about it. Okay, that which must be born is here. Okay, next thing comes the Feast of Offal. That's right, all the waste and byproduct of our intemperate living. Yeah. Then the principle of distraction. We spend our lives distracting ourselves from the great indifference, which is the next principle, because it scares the crap out of us to think that there is no God and we might be alone. So we distract ourselves with work and play, etc. I'm going to let the book guide me. See, every one of them is written here in the book. So I'll guide me through the rest so I can get through this. Then the best seat in the house, to not want to be anyone else or be anything else or be doing anything else. Be anyone else or be anything else. That doesn't make any sense. I don't want to be anyone else, be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but okay with. I want to be okay with who I am, what I'm doing, and where I am. Getting sloppy, Kurt. Don't get sloppy. This is important. I'm not saying that this is important. I'm saying it's important for me to be a cool, collected, and an adult, especially when I'm striving to prepare myself for the day, for a challenging day. It's going to be a challenging day if I didn't already say so. But in a relative sense. The Path of Wildness is next. Here we go. Because I changed it. The book's not going to help me with the next few because I changed it. The Path of Wildness is a way to step off of a current life into the middle ground between where we live and how we live now and a new life. It's a tough thing to do. It's a scary thing to do. It gets easier with practice. Yumiko and I are gearing up to step onto the Path of Wildness to make our way back to Japan in a few years. The next, and this is where I moved things around, moved it over. The next is the Great Life Adventure. When we step onto the Path of Wildness, oh, I like the way this reads. When you step onto the Path of Wildness, you begin a Great Life Adventure. That's right. It is the segue into a Great Life Adventure, which is one or more experiences in life that contribute to the diversity and interest of our living and help to create a story and to define our character. Great Life Adventure. Okay, now, back on track. The risk of avoiding risk. I think I can do the rest of it without the book. Should be a clear shot, except I gotta remember not to do the Great Life Adventure twice. The risk of avoiding risk is the fact that there is the deep level risk and the surface level risk of life. The deep level risk is the attending to discovering ourselves, to having some sort of an experience or experiences in life that help to develop our character, give us our life story. The surface level risks of life are the relatively easy stuff in comparison to the deep. The deep one's hard. It's not so hard once you get going, but it's hard to get going. The surface level stuff is education and career and home and family and security. It's easier because all of society is geared towards those things. Okay, next comes us sin and damnation. There are 7 sins in my worldview, all of which lead to damnation in the here and now. And these are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma. 5, right? Falsity. No. The 7 sins are falsity, being untrue; credulity, believing things too readily; faith, believing things because faith alone, just because we want to believe them. So we believe they're true just because we want to believe they're true, which is not a good reason to believe. Superstition, a category of belief that is nonsense. Authority, believing stuff because someone who seems to be in the know in an important office or a figure of authority says so. Dogma, believing something because it's the tradition, it says so in a big book, or everybody else thinks so. And then lastly, gossip, talking about others behind their back. I don't want to do that stuff. Did I talk about it? I forgot to mention gossip when I mentioned public speaking. Yeah, don't gossip. It's a sin. Okay, complete oblivion without a soul and with no God. When we die, that's the end of us. There'll be no reunion with our loved ones, no chance to reconcile our differences, and no chance for justice to be reserved after death, because there's nothing left. That's complete oblivion. Next comes, and normally it would be the great life adventure here, but we moved it. I moved it. Next comes the season of philosophy, time to record what we've learned. I like the way that feels. That's good. That goes there. See, I like the position. It's like moving all the furniture in the room. It's like, yeah, it looks good. This is better. The season of philosophy, time to record what we've learned. Keep the pencil and pen ready. Be ready for when the muse strikes. She doesn't come often to me. I'm glad she came yesterday. Oh, she's still there, clearly. After the season of philosophy comes arena, the bullseye aim, striving for the mark but missing. The uphill climb, trudging forward in life, upward, keeping climbing, not settling in and waiting out the storm of life from some hobbit hole on the side of the mountain, where everything becomes familiar and calm and settled and dull. I'd rather keep climbing, where the air is thin and clear, and turn around and see the vista I'd never seen before. That's the life for me. Okay, then the arena and utility. Life is an arena for the development of good principles that we can use in the ambition of whatever objectives we set for ourselves. That's the whole good life. Next is arena and utility. Next is nothing is enough. Nothing is enough. It's a suggestion beyond temperance to abstinence of a sort. To wishing for less and less and less and getting by with that. It's a worthy objective, worthy goal. It's not an objective for me. Maybe it should be an objective. No, too Spartan. It's just it's a principle. It's a rule of thumb. Lastly, the principle of fun. A reminder to have a good time. To enjoy the moment of now. Looking forward to tomorrow and then recollecting back. There you go. There's my good life creed, delivered by way of my good life meditation. Now let's plan for the day. It's a challenging day. I have probably 5 meetings, and I need to have a 6th one with my boss. I need to contact him to let him know about my plan. I ask to get permission to come back to the office. Would like to come back to the office, sir. And what's more, I want my old cube back, which is an awful cube. I took it. I volunteered for it years ago when there was a bit of a fight. We were out of space and nobody wanted it. And I took it because it's like right in the middle of everything. No privacy. But that's what I want. I want to be right in the middle of everything again at work. So that when I'm here, I'm not right in the middle of everything. Because I want this internal traffic, this work-related mental traffic to go away. Or to go someplace where it belongs. Just be at work and stay at work. So it's not here. And I don't want it in this room, this little place here. This is my sanctuary. This is my room. This is where I do my reading. Where I did my writing. That's where I work now. I'm going to get rid of all that. I'm going to strip that whole desk down and make that into just a reading desk, a standing reading desk. Focus on my books. And I've got my pictures and the inspiration of the great writers that have inspired me in life. That's what this room is going to be about. Not haunted by work. Not haunted by work. Okay, that's it. Have a good day. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care.